Now, let's move on to the internal audit. Let's start with the definition. The definition of internal control has been formulated in many ways. A generally accepted definition is the following. Internal control is an independent, objective activity designed to add value and satisfy the operations of an organization. It helps an organization achieve its objectives by providing a systematic and disciplined approach to evaluate and improve its effectiveness and management of control risks and governance processes. In addition, Garth Morgan stated internal control as the police of the firm, which is a supervisory role. Generally, the prevailing term has been assigned by the Institute of Internal Auditors and defines the internal audit process as an independent, objective assurance and consulting activity, well planned and organized, which through technical and scientific approaches evaluates the adequacy of the operation of the internal control system. Also, internal audit adds value and improves the organization operation in order to effectively assess and manage business risks, mitigate or eliminate it, which management undertakes to manage to achieve its strategic objectives. In addition, there has been a variation of definition of internal control by the American Institute of Internal Auditors (ACPA) and defines internal control as the plan of organization and all coordinated efforts, methods, and measures adapted with an enterprise to protect assets, control the effectiveness and reliability of accounting data, promote accuracy of operation, and encourage the maintenance of prescribed business policies. Let's see the target. Internal control is the most useful tool for the smooth operation of the company and for its development. This is explained by the purpose served by internal audit. The main objectives of internal audit are two. The initial objective is the formation of a system of procedures of the enterprise, a system which aims to properly organize the financial, accounting, computer, and other services of the employees, to protect its assets, to ensure the accuracy and reliability of its accounting records and books, as well as the efficient operation of the enterprise, thereby ensuring its future viability. Another important objective is the compliance of employees and external partners with the principles, rules, and any other procedures that complement the day-to-day smooth running of the company. The internal audit objectives may be only two, but they are demanding and difficult process which involves many risks and requires patience and attention. Now let's see the steps in carrying out internal audit. In short, what are the steps of conducting internal audit? The steps of internal audit are divided into 5 steps. The first step is the preliminary investigation. It is proposed in the gathering of all the necessary information and data in order to draw up a complete audit plan which will define in detail all the procedures to be followed. The internal auditor, to complete this investigation, is necessary to complete 9 procedures. The first is preparation, that is opening or updating the permanent file, studying previous worksheets and checklists, evaluating the organization of the activity, and creating reminder statements. The second step is the creation of questionnaires to assess the internal control system. These questionnaires are used to provide the auditor with an initial assessment of the internal control system of the activity to be audited. Also, these questionnaires can have a rough or specific and standardized format. Then, the internal auditor is very important to schedule meetings and interviews. These meetings are attended by the internal auditors and the supervisor from each department that is to undergo an audit process. The meetings and interviews should be held after each briefing, that is before the preliminary investigation begins. The fourth step is to know the mode of operation and the objectives set by each activity of the company to be audited. Typically, the information collected is the identification of specific projects in progress, the implementation of plans developed for possible future implementation, the delineation of organizational changes that have taken place recently or in the time since the previous audit, the extent and manner of transfer of authority and responsibilities, and for forms used to complete procedures. The fifth step is the knowledge of the management and staff involved in the activity. The staff is a very important part of companies and is the most important factor in the company's efficiency. Therefore, the internal auditor, during the preliminary investigation, has to evaluate the management, which in turn evaluates the rest of the staff. The next step is to carry out the physical inspection. Physical review is defined as the monitoring of the operations of the company's departments. It is a supreme efficiency factor as the internal auditor can check exactly where the problems are located. The internal auditor then prepares flow charts. The purpose of flow charts is to give the supervisors written information about the process implemented in the company. The manipulated step of the preliminary investigation is the risk assessment. The internal auditor is responsible for constructing the audit plan. However, in order to make the specific program, knowledge of the risk assessment is required. The internal auditor is necessary to know the actions of the management in case of potential risks. The last action of the preliminary audit is its presentation. The internal auditor's presentation is intended to indicate the main weaknesses identified, to suggest audit steps, to estimate how much audit time is required, and finally, to provide estimates of deadlines for the completion of the audit and the report. The second action of the internal auditor is to draw up the audit plan. The audit program is divided in two types. The first type is the long-term program, which describes the substance and form of the audit, while the second type is the annual short-term audit program. The second type includes a detailed projection of the work to be performed in the audit project. The internal auditor then implements the fieldwork. At this stage, the internal auditor completes the steps detected by the audit program. Specifically, the audits he implements are two: the audit procedures and the audit documentation of operations. In the procedures audit, it is confirmed that the procedures carried out are followed in the correct manner. At the same time, the audit of the documentation of operations is carried out, at which point possible errors are defined as quickly as possible. The manipulated step of the internal audit is the audit report. The internal auditors inform management of the findings and the results of their audits. The purpose of the audit report is for management to observe the results of the internal auditor and take appropriate action. Finally, the internal auditor implements certain subsequent actions. In particular, it evaluates the adequacy, effectiveness, and how quickly the actions decided by management were implemented as a result of the internal auditor's investigations.